Welcome to the Prep Zone. My name is Grant Yenny, and tonight we're here at Jack Salter Stadium as the #1 ranked Covington Lions take on the Slidell Tigers. Now we have two #1 ranked teams in the state. Covington, #1 in 5A, Lakeshore, #1 in 4A. We covered Lakeshore last week and talked about their offensive productivity, and it's the same thing here tonight with Covington. So let's bring in our color analyst, Coach Jimmy Inman, to elaborate on that. Coach, Covington's offense has a lot of firepower. What do we know about them?
Well, first of all, the signal caller, Alfaro, fantastic. He can absolutely sling the rock, throw it through a car wash, not get the ball wet, that kind of guy. He's got the killer bees to work with. He's got Bell, he's got Baptiste, who is leading receiver in the area, and of course, Devin Brumfield. So that's a lot to work with on that side of the ball.
And Slidell, 3 straight wins. What do we know about them coming into tonight?
Well, Tito Simmons has a cape on him. He's fantastic in the backfield. And then you've got Guidry and you've got Joseph. Those guys can actually make the ball work pretty well on that offensive side, tossing it as well.
Thanks, Coach. I spoke with both coaches moments ago. Let's hear what they had to say and get to the action. Pregame with Coach Salter. Coach, for the second week in a row, St. Tammany Parish has a Saints Coach of the Week. How big is that honor for you?
Well, I think it's a great honor for our entire coaching staff and for all the kids. I tell everybody about the biggest part of my job is handing out uniforms before a game. The coaches put together the game plan. The players execute the plays. So they all made me look really, really good last week.
And it's the first time that we're seeing your team in the Prep Zone this year, but your team has been doing phenomenally so far this season. Can you give us a quick rundown?
We have. We played well, and we expected to be a good football team. We had a lot of seniors coming into this season. And a lot of experience. So, while we've started off hot, we know we have a very good opponent tonight. So we have our hands full tonight. These guys are going to come to play.
This is a rivalry matchup with Slidell. What does your team need to do to be successful against this team?
I think we kind of control our own destiny right now. So if we can, and it's all cliche, if we can eliminate the turnovers, be able to continue to convert on third downs and get off the field on third downs, which is a big reason why we're 4-0, then I think we have a good chance to come out on top. If not, we're going to be in for a dogfight.
Pregame with Coach Favre. Coach, it's our first time seeing you in the Prep Zone this season. Can you give us a quick rundown on how your team's been doing?
Well, we feel really good. We're a different ball club than we've been since we got here. The buy-in from our players, our locker room is better. Kids have taken control of the team, and this is what we've been working 5 years for. So we really feel we've made a lot of growth. We're getting better as a program, and that's the key word. I think we're now finally becoming a program.
And this Covington team has been playing lights out. What's it going to take to beat them tonight?
Well, they're the best team in the district. When you have that many the whole offense is seniors, Division I football players. Alabama's here tonight. That says it all. And we got our work cut out. We got to eliminate the big play. They're a big play team. We got to make them earn everything on offense. And then we've got to match points with them on defense. Early momentum will be so big for us tonight if we can get some positive stuff to happen early.
Burdine and Harvey back deep to return the kick of Devin McKnight, and it's kept on the ground here at Covington. It's taken by Harvey, and he is dropped down at about close to the 30-yard line. But that seemed like a designed kick to keep it short.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see a good bit of that this evening. Edgerrin Cooper in on the stop right there, number 5. They have the athletes to kind of limit the losses, so to speak, put their defense on the field, and let's roll.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line for the Slidell Tigers. Our first look at their offense this season. It's led by a new quarterback in Jacob Guidry, the 5'11", 175-pound junior. I talked to Coach Favre before the game. He said he is the real deal.
Yeah, no doubt when you look at his stats, it supports that for sure.
And they motion out Harlan Dixon. They're going with the 5-wide set to open up the game. Snap called for. Guidry tosses it out quickly. It's complete for a first down. Complete pass to Caleb Joseph, the 6'3", 180-pound senior.
Yeah, and put this in perspective, that's his. He just crossed 600 yards, or got past 600 yards on the season. It lets you know that he definitely can put the ball out there and put some spin on it.
And Joseph, coming into this game tonight, had 6 receptions, 181 yards. Now 7, and he's getting very close to 200 yards receiving on the season. Another 1st and 10 for the Tigers, and again staying in the 5-wide set, and this time a designed draw. Guidry will keep it, and that time he'll get about back to the line. The tackle is made by Alan Pennington.
Yeah, he stuck his nose in there, Alan Pennington did, and wasn't fooled. Basically got to the spot with some quickness and wrapped up nicely.
That'll bring up 2nd and 9 for the Slidell offense. And I guess we're going to see a good heavy dose of this 5-wide set from the Tigers tonight. Motion across and keeps it himself, Red, and he'll be brought down for a very short gain over there by the nose, Cody Turner.
Again, a nice read. Shed his block right there. And I tell you, Slidell has a lot of offensive weapons, so to put them in 3rd and long at any point in time is a good situation for the Lions defense. But Slidell, they've got the offense to overcome this quite easily.
And that brings up 3rd and 7 for the Tigers, staying in 5 wide. Covington looking to get a big stop here to start the game off. Guidry calling for it, looking downfield as pressure comes, and he's dropped for the sack.
Yeah, excellent pressure.
That was number 99, Trevor Betts.
Yeah, definitely. He has a spot to find when he's in there. Sheds his block again, grabs a hold of the quarterback. Of course, he had a little bit of help as well from Cody Turner. Both of those guys, when they're meeting you at the quarterback, you're going to have a problem.
They have a big boy in there, punter Marcus Candiff on the field. He's an offensive lineman, but he's 6'4", 295, punting it back, and it'll be returned by Kejon Baptiste. And Baptiste hits the hole hard. He came out of there like a bullet.
Tell you what, that big fella could put a charge into the ball, but when you got Baptiste waiting for it back there, that's dangerous. And he kind of showed why it's dangerous. He was in high gear immediately.
And senior Tyler Coleman on the tackle there, on tackling Kejon Baptiste, and we will get our first look at this very high-powered offense. We talked about it in pregame. Josh Alfaro is the number 3 passing quarterback in the metro area. You have Kejon Baptiste, his favorite target, number 1 in receiving in the metro area. Elgin Bell, number 7, and of course Devin Brumfield, the number 1 running back in the metro area.
No doubt, that's a loaded offense right there.
Cialona in motion. They will go play action. Alfaro gets hit, and this one will sail well over the head of Kejon Baptiste, but he was looking that right side the whole way.
I tell you, that's something I expect them to do. If Slidell's going to put some guys in the box to stop Brumfield, I expect Bell and Baptiste to get a lot of looks tonight. Alfaro is the real deal, as you know. Player of the week for the Advocate, and it's going to be a big deal. And plus, I tell you what, Slidell, Malta Scobell's defensive line, they can get some push.
In the gun, Alfaro, this time they hand it off to Devin Brumfield, and Brumfield is stopped behind the line.
And that's evidence of that right there. You know, Slidell's off to a 3-1 start for a reason. Their one loss was, 2 Destrehan. No shame in that loss, I can promise you. But their D-line, they're legit. And, again, they're going to make it tough sledding for Brumfield. So I anticipate Alfaro having to sling the rock a little more this evening.
Yeah, coming into this matchup tonight, Brumfield averaged 9.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, that's filthy. That's what that is.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 10 for the Lions. Calling for it is Alfaro, dropping back, looking to pass. He'll keep it himself and has plenty of room to run as the hole opened wide. He gets the first down, and he's down at about the 49-yard line.
Hey, if that wasn't a design run, then he saw acres of green and pulled it down on his own. Again, he's a gifted athlete. A big guy as well. He's not a small fella.
When the middle was left wide open as both teams went to either side, it did leave a wide open pasture for him to hit.
Absolutely. I mean, Alfaro, 6'3", he has no trouble seeing those holes open up, I can promise you.
No, and, he has 37 rushes. Coming in tonight, 37 rushes, 353 yards as they hand off to Brumfield there, and he's still on his feet as the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6 tackles don't bring him down. It takes the whole team to bring him down at about the 35-yard line.
Well, there's your 9-yard average right there. Now you understand why. Look, he's getting holes, but he's getting some contact 2-3 yards past the hole and continuing to churn. He is just an amazing back. No other way to say it.
And that'll be another 1st and 10 for the Lions. And Burton Burns from the University of Alabama is here tonight making a visit, looking at Devin Brumfield, but also all of these star players that Covington has.
They have a few, so I don't blame them for being here.
And there, Brumfield gets the handoff, and he'll be wrestled down, a gain of maybe 1.
Yeah, I tell you what, Harold Marks was in the backfield quick. Again, Slidell's defensive front 7, they can get after you.
Check that. They mark it for a loss of 1, so that'll bring up 2nd and 11 for the Lions as they await the play from the sideline.
But one of those moments where Brumfield got hit and wasn't getting away.
And coming into tonight, Alfaro had 922 yards passing. If it continues, if they're able to stuff Brumfield, look for Alfaro to have over 1,000 yards by the end of tonight. Alfaro rolling to his left, and the turf monster tripped him up, and he falls for a huge loss for Covington.
Yeah, that's one of those where I think he would have been more comfortable going the other way, but that's the way the play was set, and unfortunately, those big feet kind of got tied up. I guess one of the, turf moles got him or something. Good pressure by Slidell, though. They had guys in the backfield immediately. So, like I said, Slidell's they've got a defense, I can promise you.
So it brings up 3rd and 18 for the Lions. They came out with a quick pace, but now they're needing to adjust, and they've slowed the tempo a little bit with 6:51 remaining in the first.
Yeah, Slidell's done a good job of disguising some things, so basically they need to slow it down and do a little bit better job of surveying and go from there.
Alfaro, play action, pass, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Bell.
And Bell wants that one back. He's quality all day long, all night long, but right there, it's one of those where he catches that one 9 times out of 10. That was the one right there, though.
And it's 4th down, 4th and 18, but the offense is hanging out on the field for a minute. Could this be like Lakeshore does, where they line up and then shift off the field? Or, it's looking like they may go for it, or Alfaro could quick kick it as they have the 2 running backs lined up more as protectors. That's going to be the case. They snap it short to Alfaro, and he'll kick this one well into the end zone for the touchback.
Tell you what, he's got a bit of a foot on him right there.
So that will be a 1st and 10 for the Slidell offense, who punted it away on their first drive. And we get our second look at him tonight. Tito Simmons for Slidell, 53 rushes, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's their leading rusher. He's also their leading receiver, catching out of the backfield, 16 receptions for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. I have written in my game notes here, he does literally everything.
Like I said, put a cape on him because he's their Superman.
5 wide again, and Guidry will keep this one, trying to get around defenders, and he'll be dropped in the backfield back there by Jawan Harrell and a host of other Lions.
Yeah, I tell you, Trevor Betts kind of blew that up. He had nowhere to go. He made the first move and got around Betts, and then he saw 3 blue jerseys, and yeah, he did a smart play right there. Just ate it, and let's try this again.
And we will take our first heat and humidity break of the night here with 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and the score is tied 0-0. After the heat and humidity break, everybody hydrated up, and it's 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. And taking off on his own, Guidry, he will run for the first down and some.
Still on his feet.
Going. Wow, it takes a whole group of Lions there to bring him down after about a 15-yard gain.
I tell you what, they had two shots at him, once in the backfield and once at the line of scrimmage, and he put 2 beautiful moves, on the defenders. And next thing you know, he's finding space, and then it was a crowded elevator going in one direction. So he was able to churn out some more yardage there.
Yeah, that's it's our first time seeing him play this season, but
He's quality.
yeah, Coach Favre, when he said he was the real deal, I believe him. Snap is back, and they go handoff, coming right side, barreling forward. That will be very close to a first down, maybe a little short. On the carry was Tito Simmons.
I tell you, Simmons made a nice decision there. The play looked like it was going to go right off tackle, and he broke it out a little bit wider. Nice little stutter step, and found some open space, and he's got some wheels.
And they do give them the first down. So Slidell awaiting the play from the sideline.
I think we knew what these offenses could do. The big question was how would the defenses adjust and how would they handle it?
So 1st and 10 right at the 50. Motion coming across, calling for it, and the give goes to Dixon, and he is trying to make moves, and he's eventually dropped in the backfield back there by number 37, Ralph Crandall.
I thought he was down initially, and he somehow stayed on his feet. So credit to him.
Ralph Crandall being recruited by several small schools, St. Lawrence University and Trinity University.
I have a feeling the list is going to grow and the size of the school is going to grow as well.
So that brings up 2nd and 18 for the Tigers. They have trips to the top of your screen. Calling for it is Guidry in a designed draw once again. Lions reacting quickly. He's brought down by Deron Thompson along with Betts. And a little chippiness down there.
Yeah, I think the big play before there was a little talking, and then after this one there was a little talking, and well, the conversation got a little heated.
And is it too early for that chippiness? Usually you see it late in the game when the players start to wear down, but it's only 3:44 to go here in the first.
Yeah, I tell you, Slidell has, like I said, they're 3-1. They're having a really good season, and they're looking to make a statement. This is a statement game. And Covington is off to their first 4-0 start since God knows when. So this is a statement game. So this is a big deal. So, to have a little chippiness early, not a huge surprise.
Trips to the top of the screen here on 3rd and 14. Clock is running. They're down to 8 seconds on the play clock, so they need to get set and run this thing. Guidry calling for it with about 4 seconds left. And he has plenty of time to read downfield. He finds a hole, slings it out, and it is complete to Caleb Joseph. And that will be close to a first down, but a flag's down late.
I don't know what the flag could be, but I'll say this. Joseph did a great job, right there of coming back, finding some dead area to settle up in. So.
An ineligible receiver downfield.
Yeah, more likely than not, a lineman may have drifted or something of that nature. When you have that much time, and he did have quite a bit of time, but I think Covington may have been spying him right there, waiting for him to bolt, so to speak. And when that didn't happen, sometimes, like I said, the linemen, they tend to drift.
When I played offensive line, my coach Jim Dombrowski, would tell us, if you get caught in a situation like that where you're downfield on a pass, just fall. Get down, try and get out of the sight of the official.
Yeah, and look, he had experience, and that's not a small man, so
no.
For him to hide, it must have worked.
That brings up 3rd and 19 for the Lions, who've eaten up a good bit of clock since taking the field, but haven't crossed the 50. And Guidry slings this one down, and it was intended for Joseph, but it seems like it was a miscommunication as Joseph pulled up short, and that ball was slung pretty far.
I think the pressure is what caused the miscommunication more than anything. When you're under duress, you're having to make split-second decisions, and, hey, you try to wing it and get it in there, and sometimes it works, and in that case it did not.
So that'll bring on Candiff once again to punt it away on 4th and 19 for the Lions. Baptiste and Bell are back to receive. The snap is back, and he can put a boot on it. That will go out of bounds. Out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. But the big man can punt it.
Yes, he can. And I tell you what was nice about that, no return. So not only did he, get a nice little punt out of the mix in terms of yardage, keeping it out of the hands of Baptiste, that's a big deal.
Well, and not only are you keeping it out of the hands of arguably two of the most explosive players in the whole metro area, if not the state. When you look at some of the numbers Bell's putting up, he is the second leading receiver for Covington. But when it comes to the yards and getting separation and catching those big plays, he's averaging 24 yards a reception.
Right, as Kevin McHale said about Larry Bird, I'm not a bad second fiddle.
Yeah.
So maybe that's Bell because he's having a heck of a year.
So 1st and 10 for the Lions at the 22. Handoff to Brumfield, and he is barreling forward, even to the point of throwing a hip into his blocker just to keep getting moved forward.
Hey, that's another yard and a half.
So that's another first down for the Lions, and that goes to that average that we were talking about, where coming into tonight averaging 9.3. Well, there on one carry, he got 11.
Slidell's front seven has done a really good job, honestly, keeping Brumfield in check here or there. But, man, when he gets going, he's a load.
So you have two to the bottom of your screen, a flanker there for Covington. Alfaro in the gun, calls for it, and they'll go Brumfield again, barreling forward as the offensive line looks to get some push, and that time he'll only gain about 3.
Yeah, I tell you, Slidell, like I said, their front seven, they do an excellent job. And, Brumfield was getting hit, right before the line of scrimmage. A couple more yards just out of sheer determination. But even then, he wants more there. He came back to the huddle, and he's like, you know what? I got more than that in me.
So 2nd and 8 for the Lions, 2 to the bottom of your screen. Alfaro calling for it, play action. He'll toss this one up. Cialona was open and in and out of his hands, slightly overthrown. On the coverage there was Ishmael Burdine.
I tell you, that's 2 drops tonight by the Lions receiving corps, and they're quality. So that's one of those things where they'll want that back. Maybe Cialona was wanting to say see you later, but got to grab the pigskin first.
You're taking the words out of my mouth that I was planning on using later. Or had he caught that? I had it queued up in my head, and
well, he was gone.
Yeah,
he was gone.
It was a touchdown.
So,
but
Slidell dodged
wasn't able to say it there.
Dodged the bullet right there
for sure. Minute 26 on the clock here in the first. 3rd down for the Lions. Play action. Alfaro this time caught Kejon Baptiste, and he'll be brought down after crossing the 50 by Ishmael Burdine.
I tell you what, he's another one, and he's been on the quiet side. So you go when you're in that spot, you find your go-to guy, and that's the go-to guy. How nice is it though to have Bell and Cialina? We talked about a second fiddle. How about a third?
Absolutely, and a third who's quality.
And a guy who reads defense as well and can sling it.
Exactly. I mean, they're blessed with offensive firepower. We called the St. Paul's Covington game last year, and Cialona had our play of the week with a big reception. He's a player, and a handoff goes to Brumfield. That'll be a gain of about 3.
Yeah, again, tough sledding in there. Slidell's defensive front seven doing a good job. It looks as though, honestly, Slidell is they're not selling out to stop the run, but they're coming close to it. They're putting some numbers in the box. They do have like I said, they have a good front seven, and Coach Scobell, he's going to put his guys in there and say, hey, see ball, get ball, because we know Brumfield's the guy.
And that brings up 2nd and 7 for the Lion offense. There's 21 seconds on the clock here in the first quarter. And play action. Alfaro rolling right. It's caught, juking defenders, and that will be a first down. Ball caught by Jeremiah Driver, the 5'8", 185-pound junior for the Lions. And the clock will be running as soon as the chains are set.
I tell you what, nice play design right there. Take some of the pressure off, kind of keep the linebackers for Slidell honest.
So it'll be blown into play, but Coach Salter already calling his players over to end the first quarter. Well, they haven't. Now they're running. Now the official just said run
I
it.
got you.
Yeah. So they didn't run the clock, but that will end the first quarter as we are tied here in Covington, 0-0.
St. Tammany Parish Public Schools, an A-rated school district. Graduates with the highest ACT scores in the state. Facilities with the latest technology. Safe and secure schools. A variety of sports, fine arts, and learning to last a lifetime.
I'm Superintendent Trey Foles, and this is where we educate every child, every day.
Start of the second quarter, 1st and 10 for the Lions. Looking to continue the drive. Alfaro calling for it, complete out to Bell. Bell looking to make some moves, and he's dragged down by Jerry Thompson.
That's going to be a first down.
Thompson on the tackle.
See where, yep, another first down, and Covington continues marching.
Tell you what, he made up for that earlier. He said it. Look, that was my bad. I got my hands on it. I should grab it. And there you go.
Making a big play there. 1st and 10, ball at the 25-yard line. 2 to the top of your screen. Driver and Brumfield in the backfield. And Alfaro keeping this one himself. They were using Brumfield as almost a lead blocker there. And Alfaro picking up some yards. He'll be brought down by the middle linebacker, Kobe Pettis.
There you go. Coach Salter digging into his bag of tricks to take some pressure off. You know he's very pleased with what he's saying in terms of the season so far. But, again, he's got something to work with. So
2nd and 6 for the Lions. Alfaro calling for it, slings it out. Bell once again, almost the same play that they had success on that first time. And it takes a whole host of Tigers to bring him down. But it was led by Lonaja Harvey.
I tell you, Bell is just setting up out there. He's finding a dead space. Alfaro's picking him out. He's got the space. The DB is playing wide, deep off the line. And why not?
Take what they're giving you.
Exactly, and that's the sign of a well-coached, quality squad. And again, Coach Salter's got these guys humming. He's done an excellent job with them.
So that 1st and goal, ball is at the 9-yard line. Alfaro.
This might be Brumfield.
They hand off. Brumfield barreling forward, still on his feet, and he'll be dropped at about the 2-yard line.
Yep.
Solid 8-yard gain there.
When you look at the numbers, the space was there right past the nose tackle, and you got to hand it to him. You just have to.
So that'll bring up 2nd and goal from about the 3. And Alfaro's coming over to the sideline to get the play from Coach Salter. Kejon Baptiste on the sideline. They're putting in the heavy package. As you see, Trevor Betts is in there.
It's a little mano-y-mano.
Forward, Brumfield looking to cut outside, barreling forward, touchdown into the end zone, shucking off defenders the whole way.
He is an absolute machine. Class kid and an absolutely fantastic football player.
And you look down there, standing right near the end zone, Coach Burton Burns from Alabama. You see him look down there on his phone, taking notes. He just saw that.
Yeah, as the season progresses, more and more notoriety is what I'm going to predict.
On to attempt the extra point, Devin McKnight. Snap is back, and we have a whistle. It looked like a bit of a false start.
I'm not sure what happened.
Or maybe encroachment.
Somebody hiccup for sure.
Let's see. Encroachment. So that'll move them forward a little bit.
I guess the question is, do they want to go for 2? Yeah.
I'm hearing 2. I'm hearing 2 from the sideline.
Hey, you get an extra yard and a half, you bring the same big heavy package in.
So trotting onto the field, Josh Alfaro, Jeremiah Driver, and Devin Brumfield, along with, you're absolutely right, Trevor Betts in that same heavy package they just scored with. Once again, you've said it before, but take what they give you.
Well, I'll tell you again, Slidell last time, they didn't get to stop. I'm sure they're salivating right now to make something happen.
Maryland hand to Brumfield, still barreling forward, and he gets the touchdown with 2 guys on his back.
Yeah, Coach Scoville had guys in the spot to stop it. It just wasn't going to happen. I mean, it's just one of those things where Brumfield is that guy.
So with 9 minutes and 49 seconds to go here in the second quarter, the Covington Lions lead 8-0. McKnight on to kick this one away after the Brumfield score. Once again, that line drive, keeping it on the ground. This time it will be returned as it's grabbed by Darius Tillman going right side. It's on the turf.
Looks like Slidell got on it. If I had my old eyes had to guess.
Awaiting the official call from the referees. And yes, Slidell did get on it as it was covered up by number 58. That's Bailey Lupo, a sophomore. So the sophomore coming up with a big cover up.
Tell you what, that's big because, you give Covington first and 10 at the 41. And, I mean, that would have been tough sledding for Slidell's defense to trot back on the field. So that was a big play by that young man.
Slidell offense looking to get something going. They've punted both times they've been on the field so far.
They did have a nice drive, but it didn't. It kind of got bogged down with one big play that went against them. So
this handoff, and about a 9-yard gain there for Harlan Dixon, a sophomore.
Nice run, good decision. He just one little cut, kind of kicked it out to his left, picked up another 5 yards as a result of it.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 2 for the Tigers. And quick huddle over there as Guidry just looks to be huddling with the offensive linemen. The receivers know what they have, know what the call is.
This might be a run to the right.
Calling for it is Guidry. He'll keep it himself, rolling to the left, and he'll be dropped in the backfield by Jawan Harrell and Darren Thompson.
Yeah, they were not fooled at all. They did a beautiful job reading that, and I tell you what, they were quick to the ball.
So he dropped for the loss. That will bring up third and a long 5 for the Slidell offense, and a good stop there by the Covington defense.
That was a nice stop. It does set up a 3rd and 5, but again, Slidell's playbook, Coach Favre's got them humming as well. All you got to do is look at the numbers. 3rd and 5. They got a lot of pages in their playbook for that distance.
Guidry trips to the top of the screen. Designed run for Guidry. He hit that hole hard. They left it open, and he'll be close to a first down, but
going to be
inches short.
Just short. It's decision time right here at midfield. At 8-0, I guess the smart play is to punt. But on the flip side, these guys are confident in their ability to get that half a yard.
But they'll send the big guy on to punt it away. Big Marcus Candiff, 6'4", 295 punter. Not a usual height and weight you see for a punter.
I tell you what, if he takes off and gets a full head of steam, I don't see anyone stopping him from getting that half a yard with a 15-yard sprint.
Snap is back. Good snap. And end-over-end punt. Kejon Baptiste says nope and gets away from it. And that, good job by Kejon Baptiste. That's something that you and I have talked about in, I think, every game we've done together this season, about the players staying close to the ball.
Yeah.
When
get away. There's no reason to be there.
When Peter's called, you run away. And that's a great job by Kejon Baptiste to get away from it.
Yep. Just that's it. Let me go to the sideline, get a shot of water, and it's back on.
So the Covington offense gets the ball back very quickly. 7:18 to go here in the first half. Covington taking their time on the sideline over there, but it'll be 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line as the Lions trot onto the field. And last time they scored behind 2 big runs from Devin Brumfield, the first one scoring and the second one with the 2-point conversion.
And Slidell actually, again, they set the defense up right. He just put his stamp on
Pulled through, and this one lofted up. Baptiste in and out of Baptiste's hands, and a flag is thrown there on the far sideline. On the coverage there was Ishmael Burdine.
Well, I didn't see a whole lot there. I can tell you this, that's 3 drops tonight, 1 for each of the major receivers for Covington High School. And Alfaro, he'd be past 1,000 yards on the season if it weren't for those drops.
Absolutely. He would have been pretty close to it just from those first two, to Bell and Cialona. And this will back up the Lions.
Betis tried to create some space, got caught extending, and offensive pass interference there.
There's Burdine on the ground. Burdine is a junior for the Slidell Tigers for Coach Favre. I was talking to him before the game about Ishmael Burdine. He says he's drawn the attention of Utah and Kansas State. But he goes, ask me about him when we do this interview next year.
Wow. That speaks volumes.
So that brings up first and 17 for the Lions. Alfaro passing and dropped by Bell.
Yeah, again, these guys are quality, but they got a case of the yips right now, and they're not handling their business.
And with those gloves on, they have kind of an adhesive surface to them. Is there an excuse to drop a ball like that?
You know, it's probably more of a placement of the hands. It looked like he kind of got handcuffed by the ball, but if you're a receiver, and I know he's been taught this, get your hands in a position to receive the ball, and those issues go away.
2nd and 17, handoff, Brumfield barreling forward. He had a big hole on the right side running between Kazaruni and Cotton.
They did a good job of opening up a little space for him. He had a hitchhiker, and that hitchhiker was, fortunately for Slidell, heavy enough to drag him down.
So that still brings up 3rd down for the Lions here, 3rd and 11.
Yeah, this is not an easy conversion by any stretch of the imagination. Anytime you hit double digits on a 3rd down conversion.
You'll see Alfaro in the gun. You have 2 to the top of your screen. Play action to Brumfield, slinging this one out for Cialona, and well overthrown. And there's a flag, as it looked like Cialona was pushing Jerry Thompson in the back as he was covering him.
I mean, if that's offensive pass interference, that's going to be a surprise because that ball was at least 15 yards past. If it's holding, it makes sense. Offensive pass interference, I don't understand.
So waiting the call. And they call the offensive pass interference on Cialona.
And it's the same back judge that's thrown both flags. I didn't see anything the first time, to be honest with you. And in that time, he may have. But the deal is, I guess, that ball was grossly overthrown. There was no way anyone was getting to it.
Oh, no.
But it is what it is. Call's made, and you gotta set it up.
So it looks like they're lining up to do that quick punt again with Alfaro. Ooh, nearly blocked, but he gets it away, and it pulls well left, and Slidell will get some very good field position to start this next drive.
I tell you, Covington's a little snake bit right now with the officials because that one looked like Alfaro got run, and not roughing, but he was definitely run into. So one of those where he kind of had to force the issue, which was the reason for the bad punt, or else it would have been blocked. But you had the head official right there, lead official, and he was looking at it in the backfield, and flag stayed in his pocket, and that's the guy who matters.
So trotting onto the field, the Tiger offense they have good field position, but they're looking to get on the board as they trail 8-0 with 6:10 remaining here in the first half.
I think that's an understatement. It's just great field position.
And Guidry calling for it, looks left, screen pass complete out to Simmons. It's snuffed out, and Darren Thompson drops him at about the 30-yard line, no gain.
I tell you, it was a nice play design, but Thompson blows it up by shedding his blocker and just being Johnny on the spot right there.
And we have a heat and humidity break here with 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Covington leads 8-0. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. Guidry, the hard count. Covington holds discipline. So dropping back now, trips to the bottom of your screen, calling for it. Guidry designed run once again, looking to take this one up the middle, and he will gain about 5 yards on the scamper.
I tell you what, it was a good call. Go ahead and put it in the hands of that playmaker right there. Guidry knows what to do. Picked up enough to make it a very, very manageable third down, which Slidell has a huge playbook to start with this offense, and it just got, expanded a little bit more with this down and distance.
And credit there to that big offensive line for pushing forward across the line from left to right. 270, 270, 260, 225, 275. 3rd and 3 for the Tigers. Guidry calls for it. He hands off to Simmons, looking to dance around, and he'll be dropped almost immediately. He gains maybe 1 as he was dropped there by Cody Turner and Jawan Harrell.
Well, let's see what Slidell has in terms of kicking, or if they're going to keep their starting unit out there and try to make the most out of this turn of events.
Here on 4th and 3. And there's a conference there over the ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, safe driving should be rewarded.
Well, it's like a full meeting of the team there in the middle. Maybe some words are being exchanged, and so the officials are having a talk with them saying, guys, you need to calm down and just play football and leave everything between the whistles on the field. This is the first time I've ever seen this, where they have a meeting with both units over the ball.
I've seen it once or twice, but that's in let's say a day or two. But it must be getting to the point where they're like, look, guys, this is a competitive, football game. We don't want to have flags due to, sportsmanship issues determining stuff.
So Slidell will take a timeout with 4:38 remaining here in the second quarter, and Covington leads 8-0. 4th down, Slidell's going to go for it.
It's a big play here.
And they tried the hard count. Guidry turning to the sideline as a new play comes in. They'll go trips to the bottom of the screen, and they have Kevin Boatner as a flanker to the right. Guidry will call for it, looking right side, pressure starting to bear down, launches it, and it's caught for a touchdown by Tito Simmons.
I tell you what, that's the one guy you cannot let get free. Somewhere, somehow, the secondary lost track of him, and it doesn't take long, because as soon as he's let go and he's freed up for 1 second, he found a space. Great throw, by the way, under duress to put it right where it needed to be.
And well done by the junior Guidry. So on to attempt the extra point, lining up in the old swinging gate.
Jason Williams on the receiving end.
All right.
The long snapper, Cameron Riles, only one over the ball. Seems to be a little bit of confusion down there as the play comes in from the sideline. Guidry calling in the play. And they will shift the kicker running over. That's Josh Wills.
There's a delay of game.
Delay of game. The kick was up and good, but the flags were down well before, and that'll back up the Tigers. But it looks still backed up within Will's range.
I'm sure it's within his range, but unless there's an issue with the angle, closer is better. He definitely got the range. You're absolutely right. No doubt about that.
So this will be a 25-yard extra point attempt for Wills out of the hold of Jacob Guidry. Guidry calling for it. Spot is down. Kick is up. And it is good. So with 4:31 remaining here in the second quarter, Covington still leads 8-7. So Wills on to kick this one off. Back deep, Baptiste and Bell. And this one pooched up into the air. It's actually Cialona on the return. He'll grab it, and he's on his feet, crossing the 30, and he's hit from behind and brought down by 48, Anthony Chadwick, the 5'10", 190-pound sophomore.
It's time to see what Covington can do to respond. Slidell got a couple of breaks, but like most good teams, and they are a good team, they made the most of it, including a very gutsy 4th down call right there and a great play to cap it off by two excellent playmakers. Honestly, so far in this game, you're looking at a couple of big plays. Big plays or big calls. The encroachment, against Slidell, that gave Covington an extra bite, which is the difference in the game right now at 8-7. And then, the pass interference, which set up some good field position for Slidell.
So 1st and 10 from 31, and Alfaro will keep it himself, coming near sideline, and he'll be run out of bounds at around the 40-yard line, run out over there by Lanaja Harvey.
Tell you, the playmakers are, just making plays. It was a nice, fake to Brumfield. Everybody was sold on Brumfield, and he was able to catch the edge.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 1 for the Covington Lions.
Getting back to my point, each team has gotten a break, and each team has been able to capitalize. Again, it's a sign that these are good teams.
2nd and 1, 4:16 to go in the half. Alfaro calling for it. This time they'll hand off Brumfield, who has a huge hole, and he hits it 45-40, dragging a defender before being brought down. But it took 2 guys as he was brought down by Tristan Lear and Trevin Stacker.
And I tell you what, they got him right when he was about to kind of kick it into high gear. So the timing of the tackle is what saved the day right there. So credit to the defender for not giving up on the play and showing the guts to get back in there and chase him down.
1st and 10 for the Lions, and back to these teams being very good. It comes back to their coaching as well. You have Saints Coach of the Weekend, Coach Salter, on the Covington sideline, and Coach Favre, his reputation speaks for itself over on the Slidell sideline. As the handoff goes to Devin Brumfield, he'll gain about 5.
No doubt. If you saw the piece on Coach Salter, one of the things that was mentioned is staff, and that's the same thing at Slidell. They have an excellent staff. Covington has an excellent staff. You mentioned earlier there were some plays here or there that physical mistakes are going to happen. The question is what about the mental aspect? And they've been solid. Both of these teams have been solid in that department.
2nd and 7. Snap back. Alfaro hands off to Brumfield, going right side, near sideline, and he won't go down. He's just run out of bounds over there by Lanaja Harvey.
He's like a piece of granite. You just hit him and just hang on. You're rock climbing at that point.
Yeah, Brumfield, 5'11", 220 pounds. I don't know his legit 40 that he runs, but when you get that amount of mass moving that quickly, it makes for a long day for a defense and a not-so-fun play for the defender that tries to bring him down.
And, for one of the nicest kids on the field, he plays tough. Man, he plays tough.
Snap is back. Alfaro will keep this one himself up the middle, and big credit to this offensive line as they continually open up holes for whoever's running the ball to hit.
And they have to be disciplined. Talk about the intellect side. Slidell has, on their offensive side, has so many different sets that they have to be just savvy football players, very smart. Same thing with the Covington High School. When you have these weapons, there's so many different options that are available for Coach Salter, and I tell you, you rely on the big uglies to get it done.
So 2:48 to go here in the second quarter. Covington taking their time to get back to the line. As the play comes in, it's 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Alfaro calling for it. He'll hand off. Oh, nope, he'll keep it himself. The good play action had me fooled to Brumfield, and he's brought down by Kobe Pettis after a gain of about 6.
Yeah, nice play design right there by Coach Salter. Again, the world's looking for Brumfield to get it, and rightfully so. But, like I said, Alfaro, not a small fella. And if he can tote the rock and pick up the change and everyone's focused on Brumfield, it just makes Brumfield that much more dangerous. 2 or 3 plays later.
Alfaro, 6'3", 215 pounds. Big guy, but he can move.
Yeah, he's got some wheels. He's not a statue, that's for sure.
Snap back, and it's handed off to Brumfield, and he'll be dropped after a gain of about 1.
I tell you what, Slidell's front 7 did an excellent job right there. 35 was in the backfield instantly.
Tajay King, he's 5'8", 200-pound senior, but he blew that play up quickly.
Yes, he did.
And Alfaro, back to Alfaro for a second. I actually played football with his brother at Mandeville. He was our nose guard. He's about 6'5" and close to 300 pounds, but a lot of size in the family.
Absolutely.
So that brings up 3rd and 4 for the Lions. Alfaro goes to the air this time to Bell, getting around the defender for the score.
Excellent job. Bell actually did a great job on his route running. He sold it, checked hard, came back, found a dead space, settled in, and Alfaro hit him with a dart. And then it's up to Bell to handle his business, and obviously that's what he did.
And trotting on to the field for the Lions is Austin Furman, 5'6", 160-pound junior kicker. And to hold is Avery Mendheim. As they check splits, going for the extra point here. It's 1:10 remaining in the second. Snap is back down. Furman's kick is up, and it is through for the extra point. So with 1:10 to go here in the first half, the Covington Lions lead 15-7. And McKnight on to kick this one away. Low line drive, letting it roll. And Slidell, it's back on the ground. Slidell picking it up and drop. That was Lenaja Harvey on the return. So Slidell's offense will hit the field with 1:03 to go here in the first half. What do you think we see from them here to close out the first half?
Again, they have a quick strike offense. They can sling it, but I honestly just see more of the same. And I mean, they have a good staff. They'll work the clock. They're looking at it going, you know what? We have 70 yards. This is manageable. Tell you what, on the extra point earlier, Mendheim did an excellent job pulling that ball down and setting it, because that could have been problematic.
Guidry dropping back on 1st and 10, rolls right, and it is caught out there to Harlan Dixon, still on his feet, crossing down to about the 25-yard line, and brought down over there by Chandler Washington, the sophomore free safety for the Covington defense.
And there's that quick strike capability that is definitely there. I tell you, it's a tough spot to be for a DB because you got Guidry taking off. So do you check and make the tackle? Or do you let him run? So you have to let the receiver kind of go a little bit and play it off to the safety.
Guidry will keep this one designed run going right side. It's sniffed out pretty quickly. He'll gain maybe 1 or 2, and Slidell will take a timeout with 40 seconds remaining here in the first half. Covington leading 15-7. So second down, Guidry alone in the backfield calling for it, looking downfield, and hits Tito Simmons with the strike down to the 3-yard line. And Tito Simmons, good awareness of the clock, immediately calls the timeout. So that'll be another timeout for the Slidell Tigers. They're calling in the play quickly from the sideline. They won't go huddle on the sideline. I guess they didn't give them the timeout. They didn't. So as soon as it reset, they go 1st and goal, and Guidry will be in the gun. And it looked like the left guard there got a little ahead of himself and pulled a little too early.
Yep, a little. When you're all alone, that's the cha-cha. So
that'll back up the Tigers.
Not the dance you want to be caught doing in that spot. But, again, when you're an offensive lineman, you're kind of in hurry-up mode. Your mind's kind of racing. It's one of those moments where you have to take a deep breath and just settle in and be a little bit more disciplined. The way that they've been blocking, they've had a great night. So,
once again, 5-wide set. Guidry lofts it up left side. Oh, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Caleb Joseph.
There was a lot of bodies in that corner of the end zone right there. I'm not sure who that was actually intended for.
But it was tossed up. Caleb Joseph, it hit him square in the palms.
And if it wasn't for, just I'm not sure who he ran into, whether it was his own player or, a Covington player, but whoever it was dislodged the ball.
And that brings up 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. There's 9 seconds left on the clock. Guidry calling for it, has time, now bearing down, and he is sacked, dropped by the senior Trevor Betts.
Well, I suppose at this time it's field goal. It's the time is the call.
So Slidell takes the timeout. This time they give him the timeout. So with 3 seconds remaining here in the first half, Covington leads 15-7. Three seconds on the clock. This will take us to half as Wills on to attempt the extra point. He puts this one up, and the 31-yard field goal is good. So at halftime, that'll take us to the locker room. At halftime, Covington leads 15-10.
Bang, bang. And now, please welcome the Slidell High School Swingerettes. The Swingerettes and Marching Tigers would like to thank the administration and staff of Slidell High School and all the parents for their steadfast support. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the remainder of your evening.
We will now feature the CHS Dancing Darlings and Golden Silks. The Dancing Darlings officers are Captain Sarah Wolf, Co-Captain Lexi Hebert, Senior Lieutenant Shelby Glass, and Junior Lieutenant Harry Taylor. The Golden Silks officers are Senior Captain Lanisha Forstall, Junior Co-Captain Brianna Burris, and Junior Lieutenant Harry Whitehead. The marching line traveled back to 1968 with Cliff Noble's instrumental that reached number 2 on the charts, titled The Hearts.
Kicking off the second half is Josh Wills. He hit that 31-yard field goal for the to make it 15-10 for the Tigers, and this one will be taken by Cialona, trying to get it back to the middle, and he'll be dragged down about the 20-yard line, brought down by Stacker.
I tell you what, Slidell did a good job there right at the end of the half. One big play, which we knew they were capable of putting together, and then finishing off that drive with a field goal. I mean, it puts the score back it puts the game back in a one-score situation. So it was a big deal right there.
So we'll see Devin Brumfield taking the field. He's been an absolute workhorse tonight. 14 carries, 80 yards for the Lions.
And it's a quiet 80 yards, which is weird to say, but it is.
And he's met at the line and wrestled down by a host of Tigers. Initial hit made by Tajay King.
I tell you, I don't know who it was for Slidell, but whoever it was stood the block up, and he just kind of ran right up his blocker. And then after that, I mean, his momentum was stopped, dead cold, and then Slidell just cleaned it up. So whoever initially stood the block up to start with, whoever that was, that's who blew that play up.
And that'll bring up 2nd and 11 for the Lions. Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my, I'm confusing them all.
I hear you.
But 2nd and 11, Alfaro calling for it, play action, slings it out, caught by Kejon Baptiste, and that will be a good gain, about 6 yards, but still well shy of the first down.
Yeah, I tell you, and Alfaro had to stand in the pocket and show a lot of courage right there, because he took a lick. And he couldn't have held the ball anymore. I realized that the route was kind of cut short just a tad, but given the circumstances, Alfaro really managed that well. And, Bell pulling the ball down right there, making this third down manageable. Or Baptiste, excuse me.
So 3rd and 4 for the Lions. Calling for it is Alfaro. Play action, slung out, and Bell goes up, holds on to it, and he's being pushed back by a host of Tigers. But it took 2 guys to bring him down, Stacker and Lanaja Harvey.
Yeah, I tell you, it's one of those, that's a weird spot, because it's a judgment call, but it looks like it's enough of the first down.
And they give him the first down. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Lions right at their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, initially my thought was it was kind of a little short on the spot, but it was enough.
2 to the top of your screen. Snap back, and Alfaro will keep it himself. Has a hole running near sideline, and he's forced out of bounds by Harvey close to the 40-yard line.
It may very well have been a design run, but the ball kind of, handcuffed him. It popped up in his hands just for a quick second right there. He was able to get a grip on the ball, and again, whether it's a design run or not, he made the most of it. So
2nd and very short. I'm not even going to say 2nd and 1.
Yeah, it's the nose of the football and a chain link.
Sticking with that same formation with the 2 to the top of your screen.
He might look deep up top.
Alfaro calling for it. Play action, keeps himself, and he will get that first down as he uses that long frame and extends it out.
Yeah, and I tell you, it was a good design right there. Some misdirection. Got Slidell's linebackers leaning. And once Alfaro pulled it down and he had his momentum, you just can't meet him in the hole right there. So you're going to give up that first down.
So 1st and 10, the ball is at the 42-yard line. Lions looking to continue this drive as they're eating up a good bit of clock. Motion across, rolling to his right, pressure coming immediately. Alfaro was hit, but caught by a wide open Elgin Bell, and he will score.
My word. I tell you again, I don't know what happened on the coverage right there. It looked like Bell kind of got lost behind Slidell secondary because there wasn't anyone near him, so it may have been a blown coverage. But, man, Alfaro took a beating right there, stayed in the pocket, stood tall, saw him open up and behind the secondary and slung it. It took a lot of guts to stay in there.
58 yards on the touchdown pass, and Furman now on to attempt the extra point for the Lions. Out of the hold of Mendheim. Snap it back, and
might be another 2-point play here.
Yeah, so last time Slidell encroached, they didn't hold discipline. They went for 2, and it was Brumfield carrying 2 people in. Let's see what they go with here. They're going for 2. They're bringing that heavy package on. Here comes driver Alfaro Brumfield, and they bring out Trevor Betts as well.
Yeah, I tell you, this is a good decision. Just if you really think about it, it's 21-10 at this point. So you're up 2 scores with a 2-point conversion. But at this point now, if they make this, they're up 2 scores. Now, granted, it would require Slidell to miss an extra point, but you're up 2 touchdowns. So that's a bigger deal.
So the play being called in from the sideline. They're going to go with that Maryland eye. The fullback there is the normal left guard, Kyle Fontlery, and they will call a timeout. So with 9:36 remaining here in the third quarter, Covington leads 21-10. So the extra point here, the 2-point conversion, as Covington's going for their second 2-point conversion of the night. The handoff goes to Brumfield. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Get some push from the big guys up front, and Brumfield walks it in.
Yeah, the line did an excellent job, sealed their blocks, opened up a hole, and, he doesn't need a hole. He just needs a seam, and you give him a hole, and you saw him. He checked up as soon as he got to the goal line. He was going half speed.
So with 9:36 remaining here in the third quarter, Covington leads 23-10. So McKnight to kick this one away for the Lions after the 2-point conversion goes, and this one bouncing off the face mask, and Slidell able to pick it up, has room on the right side, crossing around, and he'll be run down from behind. No, still in and barreling forward, pushing off defenders, and they say that the returner, Darius Tillman, runs out of bounds near the 25-yard line, and we have flags for extracurricular activity after the play.
Yeah, that's a big play right there. Actually a nice kick by McKnight. He fumbled the ball. The downside to that is the coverage was there. They didn't make the tackle, and, of course, he ran through a few of them. He did an excellent job with his effort.
Tillman's a big dude, 6 foot 210, and he was almost run down by Travion Brumfield. Travion Brumfield is 170, so when he jumped on the back of Tillman there, he just kind of flicked him off.
Right. It's a big flag right here. Let's see what it is, because it's either going to put Slidell in good position or it's going to take away a little bit of a big play.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct
called on Slidell.
Against the Tigers.
So that'll back him up and give him not as great a field position.
Yeah, it's still quite good, but I can promise you, Coach Favre is like, look, guys, we were set up great. Now we're just set up good. But again, with their offense, they can make do with this. This is exceptional field position.
Yeah, they're still starting the drive at Covington's 40-yard line. And the official is awaiting a ball from the Slidell sideline. There, it's thrown in.
And I got to say the officials did call them together, and it was laid out pretty clearly what their next move was. And again, this is a really old rivalry.
Yes, it is. One of the oldest in the parish. 5 wide. Guidry calls for it, dropping back. He has real estate in front of him, but he'll toss it, and it is complete out to Jason Williams, who's tackled inbounds by Juwan Harrell.
That was a nice job actually evading some pressure and, finding his outlet right there, and a good job of turning upfield and grabbing a few more yards.
So second and less than 1 for the first down as Kevin Boatner checks in for the Tigers. Boatner, 5'10", 185. Here's Guidry in the backfield. Simmons with him in the pistol. It's actually about second and 2. Guidry calls the audible at the line. Calls for it. Handoff goes to Simmons. He runs into the left guard and he'll be dropped very close to the first down. I think he got it.
It's going to be close. Depends upon the spot, but it looks like he's about maybe a half yard short.
Cody Turner.
If he doesn't hit his lineman right there, and I mean, again, whoever it was for Covington that stood the lineman up, blew the play up, kind of like Slidell did earlier. So good job for the Covington D-line right there.
It was actually Cody Turner standing up Mason Dupuy, the left tackle for Slidell. And Cody Turner playing more outside than normally, sometimes a nose. Guidry calling for it, a designed run to the right, and what quickness there from Allen Pennington to run Guidry down from behind.
That was a great play right there by Pennington. I mean, he was in the backfield, and it's going to depend upon the spot. It's going to be close.
That looks like he got it from that spot.
It does, but even if he didn't, they'll go for it. But yeah,
it'll be a first down for the Slidell Tigers. So good drive going here for the Tigers.
Absolutely.
After getting that was a exceptional field position.
That was a big play, but the reality is I mean, Slidell's got enough confidence to find a half, not even a half of a football right there. So still takes fourth down out of the equation. Slidell keeps the chains moving.
Trips to the bottom of your screen. In the backfield is Boatner with Guidry. He calls for it, and coming like jailbreak off the edge, a defender under duress. Guidry will be dropped for the big loss in the backfield by Trevor Betts. But a lot of credit on that one goes to Ralph Crandall, who came off the edge there and basically blew everything up from the start.
Yeah, he it's kind of a combo bull speed rush. He's got his offensive lineman off balance, and as soon as he did, he hit the jets and went around him. So it was a nice job of leverage on his part. Tough job right there in terms of trying to handle that, because he got off so quickly. And then, of course, when you're under duress like that, you make the best decision you can.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 15.
Betts making that last tackle.
Guidry calling for it, quickly passing left side, and it's complete. But the tackle made immediately by number 29, Chris Arrington. On the reception was Tito Simmons.
Yeah, it was a really good look. I think the idea was to kind of take some of the pressure off. Hopefully get Simmons in a spot where he can make a move and find some yards. Make this a little bit more manageable on third down, but an excellent job by the Lions defense right there.
And we will have a heat and humidity timeout with 5:56 remaining here in the third quarter. Covington leads 23-10. So that's 3rd and 12 here after the heat and humidity break. Guidry bringing in the play from the sideline. Trips to the top of your screen. Tito Simmons to the left side of the offense.
When Guidry's rolled to his right, he's been able to find some success on the move.
So Guidry dropping back, stays in the pocket, had time, now flushed out, rolling left, and he'll be dropped once again. A big sack, Ralph Crandall, along with Nigel Rout.
Yeah, good work right there, but especially by the secondary. I mean, that was a coverage sack. He had options to, chunk the ball, and no one was open at all. I mean, so excellent work by the back line there of Covington.
So Marcus Candiff coming on to punt, the 295-pound punter for the Tigers, who can put a boot on it. So it's 4th and 14. Snap is back, and the kick is away. What a punt, a sky punt. This one hits, and great job by the coverage unit for the Slidell Tigers.
Yeah, that was a great job. Ishmael Burdine, back there basically, almost fielding the punt, if you will. And it took a crazy bounce. He showed a lot of athleticism to make sure that thing didn't find its way to the end zone and set Covington up in a difficult position here.
Yeah, Covington taking over at the 1-yard line. Also, I want to give a shout out while Covington is over on the sideline getting their play called in to Tyler Coleman, the long snapper. He can zip that ball back there a lot better than you could see from a lot of high school teams. On the snap, getting it back there to Candiff, giving him plenty of time to set up and kick the ball away.
It's a unique skill set. Not many people have it, and when you do have that guy, he is important.
Heavy package in. Maryland I. Alfaro will sneak it forward, and he's still on his feet. So a 10-yard gain from Alfaro on the Maryland I formation quarterback sneak.
Tell you what, that was one of those things where everybody's setting up again, trying to get some push, and maybe thinking Brumfield's going to get the ball, and Alfaro squirts through.
1st and 10 for the Lions. Alfaro, a Houston Baptist commit right now. We'll see at the end of the season what offers come in for him, because he's playing stellar ball.
He is, and nothing against Houston Baptist. They're, quality program, but I'm sure he's going to have a lot of offers to mull over.
Sticking with that Maryland I formation are the Lions. And this time they'll hand off. Brumfield going through the line. A big gain of about 11, and he's brought down by a host of Tigers over there, led by Trevin Stacker.
I tell you what, he hit the hole and then made a cut in the hole and then hit the Jets after he made the cut, and it's almost unfair. It's just almost unfair for him to have that ability, and most backs right there, they can't make that move. And then the bottom line is, he's such a big back that your initial reaction isn't worried about him making the move. It's just about tackling him. So for him to have that net skill set, impressive.
I would love to know what's going through the head of Coach Burns on that sideline, the Alabama coach here, watching Devin Brumfield as he gets another handoff going left side, this time stacked up by a host of Tigers, led initially by Kobe Pettis.
Tell you what, Slidell again right there. When they get the numbers, they get a hat on the ball. They can limit you.
And we'll step away for the injury timeout. Lions sticking with the Maryland I here on 2nd down. Alfaro will give to Brumfield, has plenty of room, hits the hole, still on his feet, breaking away, crossing the 50, 40, and he lays the lick into Ishmael Burdine, and he's brought down after crossing the 30-yard line. Once again, big play, Devin.
Yeah, he's got it in his bag of tricks. Looks like he has a little hitch in his giddy up after that one now. Nothing he can't shake off, because he's like, don't take me out. I'm ready to play.
Especially when you're playing in front of an Alabama scout.
Yeah, that gives you motivation, doesn't it?
2:49 on the clock here in the 3rd as subs come in and out. Now they're transitioning out of that Maryland I, bringing the heavy package out. You see Mason Cialona, Kejon Baptiste, and Bell back in. Here for 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Snap is back, play action to Brumfield. Alfaro has someone on him, immediately launches this one away as he's hit, and he throws it to the cheerleaders.
What a great play. I tell you, Brumfield might need to come out just to get a little massage.
Yeah,
he looks like he's got some cramping going on.
Tough player fighting through the cramps.
When you have a big play like that and your adrenaline is just churning, you're young and you think you can manage that, but I mean, hey, everyone's human.
So 2nd and 10 for the Lions, 2:21 to go here in the 3rd. Alfaro in the gun, calls for it, and he'll keep it himself, coming right side, and he's still fighting forward, and he'll be driven back by Trevin Stacker and a host of other Tigers. Whoa, and that'll be a flag called on the Lions. You can't lift a player up off the pile. That is just a mental error.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You got to have some sense about you. I think he was trying to look out for his quarterback right there, but you got to be smarter about it than that. That's just not one of those things in the film room you're not going to enjoy. Coach Salter would be very happy that you're looking out for the quarterback, there's the issue.
But at the same time, you just backed your team up.
Yeah, that's what I say. You gotta consider the circumstances in that moment. You got to be disciplined.
The big offensive lineman, I believe that was Kyle Fauntleroy, picking Trevin Stacker off of the pile.
Yeah.
So that'll bring up third and Mandeville.
It's a haul. But you know, with these wide receivers and you know, Alfaro's ability to stay in the pocket and survey.
It's 3rd and 22. Elgin Bell averages 24 yards a catch.
Well,
so
there you go.
Feasible that they could get a first down here. But 3rd and 22, clock running, minute 49. Covington takes their time setting up. Motion across from Cialona. Back. Alfaro dropping back, launches this one. Bell catches it wide open and walks into the end zone.
There you go. Perfectly called.
How about that?
That's time to go to the casino, my friend.
So big, the 22-yard touchdown reception. Bell just got that separation across the middle of the field, caught the ball, and was able to high step almost. Yeah. It looked like Deion Sanders high step into the end zone.
It was a great route and perfectly thrown ball. And I tell you, it was so perfect. It was on Bell before he knew it, and he had to kind of adjust. Bobbled it one quick sec, but he hauled it in and found pay dirt.
Snap is back. Furman's kick is up, and it is good. So with a minute 36 remaining here in the third quarter, Covington leads 30-10. McKnight to kick this one away after the Bell touchdown reception. As usual, keeps it on the ground, being returned by Slidell. And he'll be dropped around the 33-yard line. On the return there was Lanaja Harvey.
I tell you, McKnight's done a good job. If you keep the ball low, or make it you short hop the return man right there, you can kind of handcuff him. We've seen twice tonight where the ball's actually been on the turf. So now one time, of course, Slidell did an excellent job of picking it up, making a couple of guys miss, and running over a couple of guys, and they got a big return out of it. But for the most part, it's actually been effective.
So the Slidell Tigers down 20 with a minute and 29 to go here in the third. We see their offense here. Guidry calling for it. Has plenty of time. Stepping up, slings it, and it's incomplete. Intended for Tyrell Silvas.
I tell you what, the secondary for Covington right there really did an excellent job. And look, offensive line for Slidell, keeping his jersey clean, so to speak. He doesn't have the pressure on him, but again, there's nowhere to go with the ball. Coach Glenn Salter is really doing a good job dialing up his defenses.
So 2nd and 10 for the Tigers as they reset. And the new play comes in from the sideline. You'll see trips to the bottom of your screen, 2 to the top. Guidry will be by himself in the backfield. Play clock down to 3. Guidry calls for it. Once again has time. Steps up, rolling right, and he'll keep it himself and be pushed out of bounds by Crandall out onto the track over there. A gain of 3, but
yeah, I mean, he was probably 2 yards in bounds when he hit him. The force just shot him all the way out to the pole vault track right there.
And we'll step away for the injury timeout.
3rd and 9.
So on 3rd and 9, Guidry was the player shaken up. Lanaja Harvey, also a defensive back for the Tigers, is in at quarterback. He'll keep it himself, kind of like a wild tiger formation almost, and he'll be blown up in the backfield and brought down by a host of Lions,
and it
including Chandler Washington and some others.
Looks like some extracurricular may have given Slidell the first down right there.
So, yep, the dreaded yellow hankies on the field. And that's something that's been a problem all night. And as we talked about earlier, the officials huddled both teams over the ball earlier tonight, telling them, look, guys, you got to calm it down. You got to play between the whistles. And neither team listened.
Yeah, again, we talked about this being a big game, and this is the oldest, by far, it's the oldest rivalry in St. Tammany. It's over 80 years and counting. Matter of fact, I think there's only 2 or 3 other rivalries in the entire New Orleans metro area that have more teeth than this particular rivalry. Maybe Holy Cross Jesuit, and throwing Warren Easton versus Holy Cross with Jesuit as well. But on this side of the lake, I mean, this one's been going on a long, long time. So you put all that together, and it can create some moments of being undisciplined.
Yeah, the personal foul is called on the Lions.
Yeah, it's Milton Clark. He's a senior, and he's a quality player. Made some big plays so far this year. But that was one of those moments where, quite honestly, he's a smarter guy than that. And
it actually looks like a Covington player. That is Milton Clark. Clark has been ejected.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was for. I didn't see any punches thrown or anything of that nature, but who knows what the official saw. They're a lot closer.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers at the 35-yard line.
And that's a big situation, big deal right there, because Clark he's not only, like I said, a quality player, he's a team leader as well. It's very out of character for him.
Coach Salter talking it over with the officials down near the
he's probably
40-yard line.
Probably kind of curious as to what exactly happened, because again, I didn't see anything other than the standard pushing and shoving that's unfortunate to be in the game at this point, but
nothing ejection worthy.
I didn't see anything. That's not just like
Nor did I.
Not to say the referees are much closer. Who knows what they saw, but I mean, I actually had a pretty good view of that one, so I'm kind of curious as well.
Coach Salter still talking it over with the white hat here, so we're kind of in a holding pattern here in the matchup. But Covington leads 30-10. There's a minute to go here in the third quarter. And
I think
the game was moving at a pretty good clip up until now.
I think what Coach Salter's saying is, look, you got the guy, and this is what he's saying, and I kind of thought I saw this as well. He got the retaliation, which is 99% of the time. But I didn't see anything from either guy to make me go, you know what? So I think what happened is after they had their little huddle, they've decided to definitely call it a lot tighter. Because I didn't see a whole lot there.
And Clark has come back out onto the field. Coach Salter talking it over with Milton Clark over here on the Covington sideline, as the officials talk it over with Coach Favre on that far sideline. So at least for the moment, it looks like maybe Milton Clark, who has reemerged from the locker room, will be able to stay. But the game is now continuing. So in at quarterback now, Bo Adams for the Tigers. He'll hand off to Tito Simmons, who had a good hole to hit there, and he'll be close to the first down. Tackled down over there by Jawan Harrell and Avery Mendheim, and you saw Mendheim getting up off of the tackle, putting his hands up in the air, saying, nope, I'm not getting called for any extracurricular activity.
And that's smart play on his part, because, I mean, it's one of those things where if you give up a personal foul right there, it's obviously assisting a drive, so smart play.
That'll bring up 2nd and 2 for the Lions as Bo Adams calls for it. He'll hand off to Simmons, who's gobbled up almost immediately, but maybe close to the first down. And after all of that, some extracurricular activity. It wasn't called, but we both saw it.
I did.
We both saw it.
I saw a lineman try to pick a pile, and the play was dead. It was it's an easy flag, and it wasn't called.
But it wasn't called.
Who knows? There's a lot of inconsistency right now, in my opinion.
And that will end the third quarter. We head to the final stanza as the Lions lead 30-10 here at Covington.
St. Tammany Parish Public Schools, an A-rated school district. Graduates with the highest ACT scores in the state. Facilities with the latest technology. Safe and secure schools. A variety of sports. Fine arts. and learning to last a lifetime.
I'm Superintendent Trey Foles, and this is where we educate every child, every day.
So third down here at Covington. Start of the final quarter. In at quarterback now, Bo Adams, as Guidry was shaken up earlier. Adams dropping back. Adams, a lefty, rolling to his left. Will launch it, and it falls incomplete, and there's a flag in the backfield.
I think they'll accept this right here just for one simple reason. I mean, it was kind of one of those in the middle of, open area. It's kind of hard for the referee not to see it. But it's one of those where initially it may want to decline it, but because of the circumstances, because of the score, it might be best to accept this and let them have third down again with a longer down and distance. In particular, missing Guidry. I hope he's okay, because again that pole vault run up. I mentioned in the break, it gives, but it's not forgiving.
No.
It's if he hit that with his hip, he's in some pain.
All it is rubber covering concrete.
Yes.
And if he caught it on the edge, he could have just caught the concrete.
He very well may have. And again, it wasn't a dirty play.
No.
He was a yard and a half, 2 yards in. Just the force of the play sent him flying out of bounds, and man, what a horrible place to land.
Yeah, Ralph Crandall, a very strong, explosive player, got the push on him as he was headed toward the sideline, and that's what launched him into the track out there. So it'll be third and very long. Third and 21 for the Tigers here. And the play comes in from the sideline over there as Bo Adams trots on. So Guidry still hasn't been able to check back in. He's being checked out and evaluated over there by the trainers on the bench over on the far sideline.
Well, let's hope he's okay, because he's quality, and that's tough to overcome.
Yeah, and the junior quarterback, but Coach Favre before the game looked at me and said, Grant, he's the real deal. And from what we saw of him, I agree. So Adams getting the new play from the sideline.
Though that's
and
why
Slidell's taking their time here.
That's why Adams gets some plays with the first team unit, though, because you never know. You're one play away from being the guy.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they have faith in him as well.
Trips to the bottom of the screen for the Tigers. Simmons way out there to the left. Dropping back. The lefty launches it out there to Simmons, and it falls incomplete, through into double coverage. It was tipped there by Chandler Washington and fell incomplete, intended for Tito Simmons.
Yeah, I tell you, he went to high point the ball and maybe misjudged it just a tad, but he's such a good athlete. He still almost came down with it. And I tell you, I thought the Slidell offensive line right there did a good job of providing some support right there and giving some protection, because that was not a quick developing play.
And a punt away by Candiff will go into the end zone for a touchback. So it will be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Covington Lions, whose offense has been rolling. And you think we see more of them trying to kill the clock here in the fourth quarter, 11:26 to go, and you have Brumfield. It works.
Yeah, here's what I think. I think you see exactly what you've been saying, just simply because if not, everyone stacks the box, and then Brumfield's going to have a rough time, and he's taking a pounding that he doesn't need to. The reason it works so well, in my opinion, is because there's so many legitimate options. It gives Coach Salter so much to work with. And I tell you what, I know it's 30-10 right now, but Slidell's defense actually, for a good chunk of this game, played well, and they were put in the right position by Coach Scobell.
So 1st and 10 from the 20. Josh Alfaro and Devin Brumfield in the backfield. Alfaro calls for it. The give to Brumfield, and he will power forward for a modest gain of about 2.
Yeah, that's just one of those. You look at the scoreboard and you go, okay, there's the clock. It's on our side. let's see if he can find an extra yard or two when there's nothing there. And Slidell's defense made sure that it was just a yard or two. Again, Coach Cobell's putting him in the right spot.
Yeah, the play clock starts, and I'm sure the Covington Lions will allow it to run down.
They are going to milk it.
Yeah, so 10:47, and the clock running. The clock is their friend. 2 to the bottom of your screen here on 2nd and 9. Alfaro keeps it himself. Good lead block there from Brumfield, and the stiff arm on Trevin Stacker from Alfaro, and he'll be brought down at about the 39-yard line over there by Pettis.
Yeah, not only does Brumfield play decoy right there, he's the one who makes that happen. And Alfaro, once he got into space, again, he's an athlete. He's not just a drop back passer.
And Alfaro, Trevin Stacker is a tough player. Alfaro just delivered a stiff arm to him and knocked him to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of being 6'3". You know, you got a good bit of reach, and you're able to use it to your benefit.
And something happened with, I believe it's an equipment malfunction with Alfaro coming off, something with his helmet that's being looked at by the equipment managers. Trainers looking at him as the officials brought him off the field. So backup quarterback will go in for the Covington Lions, and we will, well, the clock's still running while all of this is happening. And that's what the Slidell is kind of wondering, what's going on, as the play clock's actually down to 3 seconds here. So that'll be a delay of game. Unless Coach Salter took the timeout.
He saw
it. Yeah,
it.
he took it. So timeout called by the Covington Lions. 10:01 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Covington leads 30-10. So Kejon Baptiste, the backup quarterback, in for Alfaro, who's being looked at on the sidelines. Handoff goes to Brumfield, barreling through the arm tackle of the first defender, and he's brought down after crossing the 50 by Lanaja Harvey.
I'll tell you, I don't know what Brumfield's total is at this point, but between the big run earlier and just chunks here or there, he's got to be between 150 and 200. And again, you don't even notice.
No,
it's just
a quiet.
It is. It's a
three-figure number.
It's unbelievable.
So Alfaro now checking back in. Cialona also coming into the game, and Kejon Baptiste will go back to his rightful position at wide receiver, where he is the leading receiver in the metro area. Coming into tonight, Bell was number 7. After those catches he's had, I believe he'll move up. And that handoff is blown up, the sweep in the backfield blown up by, number 3, Darius Tillman. It was handed off to Jeremiah Driver.
Nice job by Tillman. He basically looked in the backfield, kind of spied what was about to happen, and immediately handled his business and got to the spot.
So clock running. We are under 9 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter, with Covington leading 30-10, and it's 2nd and 14 for the Lions.
Yeah, they need to get to where this play is manageable. Slidell's done a good job of slowing this drive.
2 to the top of your screen. Cialona and Baptiste dropping back. Alfaro launches it, looking for Cialona, and it's a jump ball and looks to be picked off, and it is interception by Jerry Thompson, the 5'8", 155-pound junior defensive back for Slidell.
Yeah, Cialona, he tried to get back to the ball. It was one of those just a tad bit underthrown, but the reality is once you're established in terms of your position behind the receiver, it's difficult to actually check up your stride and to get back and play defense. Excellent job by Slidell, just high pointing the ball and coming down with it.
So Slidell offense trotting back onto the field. What do you think we see from them here with 8:30 to go in the fourth?
Well, again, they have the big play capability. So I think that they just run their offense and see what happens. I don't see them trying to do too much in terms of over the top.
5 wide, Bo Adams, the sophomore quarterback, rolling to his left. and that looks to be out of bounds.
It is.
And they call it incomplete.
Yeah, Betts he just blew up, his block and immediately was in the backfield. I don't know if he got a jump on was looking inside. As soon as the center snapped the ball, he shot out of a cannon.
It was intended for Harlan Dixon. He actually hauled it in, but was out of bounds. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Tigers, sticking with this 5-wide set. And their new sophomore quarterback in for Guidry. Motion across Dixon. They give to Dixon, and he'll be dropped over by Jawan Harrell. A gain of about 2 on the carry, but you saw Adams and Dixon kind of had a bit of a collision there on the handoff.
And, that's one of those things where you get reps, but you're not getting all of the reps, and you have to have some cohesiveness in that backfield and some familiarity, and sometimes it causes a little bit of a hiccup with the delivery.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 8 for the Slidell offense. They go 2 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Adams taking his time to set up when you're that sophomore who just comes in, filling in, and rush coming off the edge. Adams has to take off, and he's dropped in the backfield, and there's a flag late.
Man, that might be a face mask, but it was one of those where he literally dove into a hand. I didn't see it grab. It is what it is. Let's see the call.
Alan Pennington came full head of steam off the edge there.
Pennington
to pressure Adams.
He was blitzing off that side the whole way, so I guess it was just inadvertent.
It's one of those 5-yard face masks.
Yeah.
So that'll bring up 4th and 6 for the Tigers.
Again, they have a lot of plays in their playbook that they can eat up 6 yards with no worries.
Check that 3rd and 6.
Okay.
So two attempts. Yeah, that's a
big
much more manageable. Yeah.
Tell you, Pennington was in the backfield quick right there.
7:16 on the clock here in the 4th. Covington leading 30-10. 3rd and 6 as the Tigers are at the 23, snapped back to the lefty. Adams thought he had some room to run, instead pulled back. Betts trying to bring him down, and his knee hit before he got that ball off.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to say it hit. I think they're going to say he got it off.
But regardless, there's flags down.
Yeah, it'll bring up a 4th and 6 unless they take it. And with an inexperienced quarterback, they may choose to take it.
He's motioning to the white hat, motioning over to Coach Salter. You want to decline, right? So the holding on Slidell is declined by the Covington Lions. That'll bring the punting unit on for the Tigers. It's Marcus Candiff. He's had a very good game punting for the Tigers. Kejon Baptiste and Elgin Bell are back to return this one.
Yeah, he's done a good job of keeping it out of their hands. You don't want it in their hands if you're Slidell.
Punts this one away, end over end. Kejon muffs it, and Baptiste falls on top of it. And very good play by his teammate there. If I could get a number, 43, that is Darren Thompson. And Thompson fell on top of Kejon just to make sure none of the Slidell players could get into to get it with him.
Yeah.
So good heads-up play there. Thompson, a great story there, a great recovery story. We interviewed his dad earlier today. His dad was on the team that went to the Dome back in the 80s. But great recovery story. He had to sit out his sophomore and junior year due to a neck injury.
Yes,
and
he did.
Finally came back here for his senior year, and he was going to start as a sophomore. He came back for his senior year to play and earn the starting job. We'll have his inspirational story on a later broadcast. but we interviewed his dad today, and his dad's an exceptional person as well.
And very good friends with this man right here.
Yeah, his best friend, Devin Brumfield, carrying the ball, crossing the 40, a gain of 6. And from what I've heard from Coach Salter, it was Thompson and Brumfield were kind of your alphas on that freshman team.
Very much.
And, they were getting reps with varsity and, just leading that freshman team. And he looked for productivity from both of them in their sophomore years. Obviously, Devin Brumfield came out, had a stellar sophomore season. Thompson had to wait until now. But coming into tonight, he's averaging 10 tackles a game.
That's fantastic. Great story.
So we'll have more on that later in the season. But right now, it's 2nd and 4. Alfaro milks the clock, and he'll keep it himself up the middle, diving for the extra yards. Looks like he will get the first down.
Yeah, it'll keep the chains moving and keep the clock on their side.
And we will have a heat and humidity timeout. So with 5:57 to go here in the 4th, Covington leads 30-10. So 1st and 10, 5:54, and the clock is running. Obviously, we've said it multiple times. The clock is on Covington's side, and they will milk the clock to try and run this one out as they have a 20-point lead over Slidell.
That's right. It's the smart play. You got the clock on your side, you keep it on your side.
Their handoff goes to Edgerrin Cooper, the sophomore running back.
Getting him some time in a spot where, quite honestly, it's important. It's important to keep the drives moving.
And so that'll bring up 2nd and 8, 5:10 to go. Brumfield on the sideline. His night looks to be done.
I tell you, he's done the work. So he can sit over there with his bud, Mr. Thompson, and the band of brothers that they are and hang out.
And play clock at 14. You can bet Alfaro is just going to let this run down to 3 or 2 before calling for it.
Football IQ. He's got it.
And a flag.
Did I speak too soon?
You see Alfaro frozen in the handoff position, saying, "What? Come on."
So I was going to say, there were 2 seconds left on the clock there. I was like, wait a second. So that makes more sense.
Yeah, false start called on the Lions. And start talking about next week here as it's 2nd and 13, 4:39 to go. Ponchatoula takes on Slidell. Ponchatoula lost to Mandeville, who was who they were hungry for a win. That's who they travel to take on Slidell next week, who after a loss tonight will be hungry for a victory and looking to beat the Ponchatoula Green Wave.
It sets up for a very important game under those circumstances.
Now Alfaro keeps it himself. He's hit at about the original line of scrimmage, gain of 3, and that'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that was a big hit laid right there. Kobe Pettis for Slidell. He put some pop behind that one.
But then also looking forward to next week, really the test of the district. This is going to be everyone's game of the week next week. And it's St. Paul's.
So.
St. Paul's comes here to take on Covington. Excuse me. No, they don't.
No.
Covington goes to Hunter Stadium.
That's correct.
Because if they were coming here, we'd be doing that game.
Most certainly.
But we don't leave our stadiums, so they go to Hunter Stadium.
Yeah, be a big test.
And that one thrown out to Keyshawn Baptiste. Makes a move, still going. Trevin Stacker runs him down at about the 10-yard line.
I tell you what, Baptiste makes a move on the inside, and Shalona, I should say, he seals his DB on his side, which just left a bunch of space. And Keyshawn Baptiste in a bunch of space is a problem for anybody.
So 1st and goal for the Lions. Clock running, 3:14 on the clock. Alfaro taking his time.
That pass completed to Keyshawn Baptiste.
And the backup running back, Edgerrin Cooper, will get the call. And he gains about 2 on the carry.
It was good hard running, but I mean he was met in the hole pretty quickly. Harold Marks did a good job, and actually nice form tackle right there as well.
And Cooper coming out, so that'll send Jeremiah Driver, who's been in that flanker role most of the game. He'll be in the backfield with Alfaro.
And Driver's, he's got some size, he's got some toughness and some tenacity.
5'8", 185 junior.
Yeah.
And he looks to, once Brumfield graduates from here, he'll most likely get the nod next year as the running back for this team. Alfaro keeping it himself, trying to get extra yards, fighting for it, and he's brought down by a host of Tigers, including number 10, Blake Simmons, the junior linebacker, 6 foot, 205.
Yes, I think Slidell's defensive line has been on the field for a good portion of this game, and especially in the second half. And they're starting to tire a little bit, but, I mean, they've really done a nice job in terms of trying to limit, what Brumfield's done. But, again, Brumfield, it seems like a quiet night, but at the end of the night, you look at the yardage totals, and he's got a bunch.
90 seconds to go in this one. Play clock is at 10. Motion Cialona. They toss it to him, going around right side, looking to go far sideline. Breaks a tackle, and he's brought down by Pettis over there, crossing inside the 5-yard line.
And he stayed in bounds. So football IQ, once again, do what you have to do to keep the clock moving.
So a minute to go. Play clock hasn't started yet. It's 4th down for the Lions. And I'd assume they take the delay of game here and then kick the field goal.
Well, again, I guess you could do that, or
38 seconds.
Turn around and hand it off, and then put your defense back out there and be done with it.
And let the Slidell offense take over at the 3-yard line. So yeah, it looks like they're going to call a timeout. Yeah, Covington takes a timeout with 24 seconds remaining in the game. Covington leads 30-10. So it's almost a victory formation for Covington, and Alfaro will drop back and take the knee. 2 seconds run off the clock. They need to stop the clock because that was 4th down, and it's a turnover on downs, but they let 7 seconds run off the clock.
I guess that's one of those things at that point.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed that there was a table downstairs.
Man,
it doesn't matter.
I'm assuming, we don't see the officials doing the old pump up the clock to reset it. But 7 seconds did run off the clock.
That's kind of bizarre.
A knee on 4th down. So we'll see Slidell's offense. You think they take a shot?
I think they run the ball here and see what happens. I don't think they want to put their young quarterback under duress. They have bigger fish to fry. They've got to bounce back from this next week when they play Ponchatoula at home. Basically they're going to head back, start looking at film, see how to get better. And let me tell you again, Coach Favre has weapons, so they can get healthy. They're going to be tough. And Coach Scobell will get his guys ready for Ponchatoula and Covington. They'll be going across town to see the Wolves.
And the handoff goes to Dixon. Dixon still running, and he'll be tackled out of bounds after getting out to about the 45-yard line. They say he stayed in, and so the they were saying to move the chains, not to keep the clock running.
Right.
So the chains move. Clock stopped at 8 seconds.
Yeah, I tell you what.
And you hear the crowd here at Covington. They're chanting 5-0.
Yeah, they should be excited. That's a big deal. This is one of the best Covington squads they've had in a while, and they'll face one of the better St. Paul squads that they've seen as well. So next week should be a good match, good game.
Good match, the soccer coach.
It happens.
1st and 10, handoff goes to Dixon once again. He will be brought down by a host of Lions, and that ends the ball game. The Covington Lions move on to 5-0. So let's take a second to thank those who helped bring you this game, starting with our superintendent, Mr. Trey Folse, our director of broadcasting, Dr. Melody Menard, cameraman, editor, coordinator of Channel 13, Dave the Rave Williams, sideline cameraman, Rhett Sharp, and color analyst, Coach Jimmy Inman. So from Jack Salter Stadium, where the Covington Lions defeat the Slidell Tigers to move on to 5-0, 30-10, my name is Grant Yenny. Good night. You are now leaving the Prep Zone.